Hello, and welcome back to the final portion of our concert tonight. There's considerably less of you. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. It's good to see everybody. Okay, so we're going to end our portion of our concert this evening with our wind ensemble portion. Our wind ensemble is our what we call premier ensemble on Port Charlotte High School's campus. That just means that it is our highest achieving level, meaning that you need to have a high level of individual preparedness and the ability to come into rehearsal and rehearse immediately, right as soon as you sit down. I want to recognize very quickly before we start, if you're a freshman in this ensemble, will you stand up really quickly? I'm trying to move out of the way so you can actually see them. There's not very many of them. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, freshmen. I appreciate it. As you can see, only 3 that we have in here. Did I miss somebody? Okay, they laughed at me, but they do that all the time, so it's all right. Only 3. That's a very rare thing to have freshmen in wind ensemble. I normally do auditions. We weren't going to do that this year. But those kids achieve at a much higher level to be able to play in this ensemble. If you're a sophomore, stand up really quickly, please. Any sophomores? Come on, there we go. Same thing, thank you. All right, sophomore power, sit down. Thank you. You can see considerably more. Juniors, give me a stand. There you go. Very nice, very nice. Thank you. And sit. All right. We're not going to talk about the other class right now. We're going to talk about them a little bit later, okay? So they are very important, obviously, but we're going to give them their time. So as you can see, this ensemble is made up of primarily upperclassmen, and so we have a high expectation level for them. This ensemble did travel to the Florida Bandmaster Association district level this year, and we did receive straight superiors for this band, which is, yes, thank you. I always tell the kids that that's not the goal. It is something that we expect in a way, because when you prepare music the way it's supposed to be prepared, the way that it's supposed to be listened to, there is no other option. You should receive a superior. So to us, we are very grateful that the judges saw that, especially for as hard as these students worked to make that happen in the crazy situation and crazy room that we had this year. So without further ado, let's get this started. I know they have a few pieces and we're going to move through them pretty quickly. The first piece here is a Spanish march entitled Sol y Sombra. It feels like it's getting hotter by the millisecond. I feel like there's less people, but more heat. It makes no sense. But we're going to make it happen. Excuse me. That piece, like I said, is Sol y Sombra, a Spanish march, really, really, really wonderful, energetic piece. The students, as you can tell, really encapsulated the idea of the Spanish style. That's really what we wanted to do, was a Spanish march, not a Mexican march, not a Cuban march, not a South American march, Spanish march. That's what we wanted, okay? And they worked really, really well. You can hear the flamenco, you can hear the Madrid, you can hear it in there, and they did a wonderful job. That's one of our pieces we played for MPA this year. Moving straight forward, we're going to go into a piece we did not play for MPA, but this is that piece that these freshmen played when they were freshmen, and now they're seniors. This is Symphonic Dance number 2, written by Mr. Clifton Williams. He wrote 5 symphonic dances, only 2 were published, 2 and 3. They are by far the most popular of his pieces, and they are not easy pieces to do. This piece is called The Maskers, really military ball, The Maskers, and you'll hear that it is very waltz-like and ball and gala-like. So I don't want to give anything else away, and we're going to move forward because otherwise we're all going to melt by the end of this concert. But this is Mr. Clifton Williams, Symphonic Dance number 2. The Maskers. Talk about energy, right? It's a wonderful, wonderful piece. I even debated closing with that, but I think you'll agree when you hear our closing piece. This piece, I don't want to talk very little about. It is a piece that we played for MPA. It was the second piece that we picked. We have to pick 3 pieces for MPA. We have to pick a march that is not on the list, so we can pick whatever we want, which is why I picked Spanish. We have to pick 2 other pieces from the FBA list, and they have to be a specific grade depending on our school size. Not on our music program, on the people involved, on our school size. Some schools, this is really, really, really rough for them, the classification system, because they have 2,000 kids in their school, but 30 kids in their band program, which means they're supposed to play a grade 5 out of 6, or a 5 for grade literature, and a grade 4, which is crazy. It's very, very difficult. We played 2 4s this year with what we performed, and this piece, Doom Spiro Sparrow, was written by Mr. Chris Pilsner, is a newer piece. It is a very, very relatable piece. He wrote it so that humans could feel it, and every time they hear it, they can think of something and feel something when it comes to music. That was his goal with this piece, and he thinks it's the most human piece that he's written. I don't want to speak too much to it, but I will say that we spoke a lot with this band about centering ourselves. We played a piece a few years ago called Sleep, and I talked to them, and also a piece called Sheltering Sky. And these pieces are all about when is the last time you sat still, especially in today's day and age, quietly and thought, without phones or other people or the world yelling at you, the news or Facebook or any of the other stuff out there, and just we're a human for 5 seconds by yourself. And it's a really, really important thing, I think, to teach our young people in today's day and age. And they were shocked by the things that they could find, that they could feel, and that they could become in just a few seconds of making that happen. So I challenge you, as you listen to this piece, to find a few seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, if you will, of something that you feel, something that it brings to mind for you, whether it's a memory, whether it's an event, whether it's something that's going to happen, or whether it's a feeling that you felt in your life at some point. This is Mr. Pilsner's Doom Spiro Sparrow. The next pieces we'll do back to back, so I'll speak very quickly here, and then I will talk for just a second before our very last piece, just to recognize and say thank you to the people here, and to recognize a couple people on stage. These next two pieces, I'm sure everybody knows The Wizard of Oz that's sitting in the audience, right? That would not be the case if you were in my classroom when I asked these students if they knew The Wizard of Oz. I was just as shocked as you are, trust me. They knew the music, right? They knew the music 100%, but I raised hands for movie and it was like less than 2. It was crazy. So I plan on showing this in class now that our concert is over, so you guys are gonna have this so you can see The Wizard of Oz for real. But of course, classic, can't get any better than The Wizard of Oz. So we are gonna play some selections for you from The Wizard of Oz. On the end of your concert, I always like to play something a little more popular, a little more Broadway, or a little more cinema movie, because that is a huge part of music that we have here, and it's not just sitting in a band playing Shostakovich and playing band music over and over and over again. So I want you guys to hopefully enjoy our selections from The Wizard of Oz. Thank you very much. And the next piece we will play after this is Jack Stamp's Miniature Overture. It is mini, trust me. It's about 1.5 minutes long and it goes by quick, so be ready for that piece too. These next two pieces, Wizard of Oz selections and Jack Stamp's Miniature Overture. I know I said I wasn't going to talk, but they need a second, and I need to make sure I say this. We do have a senior tuba player named Landon Godown, who many of you know. Yeah, absolutely. Landon is wonderful. We love Landon. Very, very unfortunately, he has strep throat. Yeah, he is on live right now watching. Oh, awesome. Everybody say hi to Landon over there, please and thank you. He's a senior, which makes it really, really difficult because this is his last concert that he would have. He actually got accepted into the Marine Band program as well, and will be joining them. Yes, huge accomplishment. The tuba solo that was actually so wonderfully covered, Avery, stand up really quickly, okay, by Avery Gautier. Thank you so much. You heard that in The Wizard of Oz. I would be remiss if I didn't say very quickly that Avery jumped in on that. He'd only played it once before today. And then today was the second time, and that was the third time that he'd played it. So I just wanted to make sure I shout out to him and shout out to Landon because he was very sad that he can't be here, but wanted to make sure we gave him some love. So thank you, Landon. Thank you very much to Avery over here. Appreciate you guys. Alrighty, folks, and we come to our final piece of the evening. chorale and shaker dance, which if you are a band person and a band nerd, you are about to love everything because chorale and shaker dance is written for bands. It's a masterwork of band literature, and there's so much in here, so much technicality, so much lyricality. It is a difficult, difficult piece, and this is not a piece that we played for MPA. So we added this after our MPA program in March to our program here because these students have worked their butts off to make that happen. Before we get to that piece, I have to say thank you to a few people, and I want to say thank you to a few people, not I have to. So if there are any school board members that I missed, I don't believe I saw anybody, but if there's a lot of things happening. School board members, I know Mr. Seo's over here, but anybody, school board members or administration that are here, if you would please stand. I do want to thank you regardless of whether you're here or not. Please stand now. Okay, just making sure. Whew. All right, thank you. Let's please thank those people that have made this possible for us. We've had a big workaround this year with just having class, so the fact that they were willing to do that at my school, and that we had a faculty and our chiefs that were willing to give up a part of their program to make it happen for us. Very, very, very grateful for that, because your students wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. I need to thank, if you reference the note that I wrote to you guys, our booster organization and all of our volunteers. If you are a volunteer or a booster/board member, please stand up right now. Whether it's once or whether it's every single time we have something, please stand right now. Absolutely. Everybody, thank you. Thank you, thank you. These people around, yes. Absolutely. These kids and I said it in the letter, but we are the pride of Port Charlotte, and you are at 100% part of that, no question. I also need to thank specifically Ms. Colleen Ferrara over here is our current president. Technically, we are transitioning into a new presidency, but when we change presidents, I always want to recognize our president, and specifically Ms. Colleen, because she stepped in midterm to take over and has kind of righted our ship and has kind of made us what we are right now. The whole booster board together, but of course, the leader is the person that makes that happen and sets the tone for it. So I want to thank Ms. Colleen, even especially through the surgery and through her health that she's been dealing with. She's still been a stalwart leader for us. So if you can, please, if you'd like to, Ms. Colleen, please stand. Let's thank her. We love Mama Ferrara. She's the best. And lastly, I want to thank you guys. I should say lastly, because there's one more group that I want to talk to. But I want to thank you. It says in there, the audience, for what we do. And we do this thing, music, for you. We would not do this if it were not for the audience. If we don't have an audience, there is no purpose. Because to share music is music, 100%. And that's the lesson that I know these kids have learned. And I can't call them kids anymore because I don't believe musicians and artists are kids. There's just too much to it to understand. So these musicians and these artists behind me really appreciate that they have an audience to play for, especially this year. So let's on stage thank these wonderful people for coming out, please. Thank you. To wrap it up quickly, you know who I'm going to ask to stand up. Come on, seniors. All stand up. Thank you, thank you. Come on. 12th graders, seniors, let's go. %. Now, I always love my senior classes. I know I haven't been doing it for that long, but I've had a lot of senior classes even before I was just the band director. Worked at a lot of different schools, a lot of different capacities. And the senior class is always the heart and soul of a band program. It does not matter what the program is going through. It does not matter who the director is. The seniors, regardless of whether their positions or their titles or anything exist, they are the heart and soul of the band program. The kids will do what they do. They will say what they say. That's why your kids say what they say. And they will be who they are. That's the most important thing. I can see little mini Alonzos. I can see little mini Celias and Jacks. I can see these little mini Austins and people around in the band program already from these kids that are here for 1 year. And the reason I'm making a point of this at the concert, which I don't normally do, I don't like doing that at the concert because the concert is about everybody. It's about the band program. Band banquet is where these kids get to shine, and they will still get that. So please attend band banquet if you're not. If you don't have a ticket, do it because these kids need recognition. But this class put up with more than even the other 2 classes that I've been with. Some of them are sitting in here. But these kids, man, I really can't. I can't call them kids. They're not. They're so much older than I was when I was 16, 17, 18 years old because of what they've dealt with this year. You can hear my voice. It's hard for me to talk about because of what they've had to do to grow up so fast. The things that I've asked them to do to help me keep this band program together. The things I've asked them to sacrifice, to give up parts of their childhood, parts of who they are, to be responsible, having to yell at them to make sure that they understand, guys, you signed up to do this, and this is something that you need. Everybody needs a reminder of that, whether they're an adult or a child. And they took it and they said, you're right. You're reminding us. Thank you. And they worked again, over and over and over and over. Every time I asked this year, they came back and they helped. And they could have easily said, we don't want to do that. It's too hard, and we don't deserve, or it's not fair. And all of those things would have been valid, but I didn't hear that one time. Not even once. Not when we didn't have a band room. Not when the list that I have in my pocket, which I will save for band banquet now because it's too hot, of things that went wrong this year. And y'all, it is a list. Trust me, okay? Not when a pipe burst in F2 and all the stuff that had been cleaned had to be re-cleaned, which most of y'all don't even know about. When our interview got canceled from Fox News, stuff like that. They just put up with it, and they stayed here. That letter in there is for you, and it's for them, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't. There's no way I could have done this by myself, not even with the help of the wonderful volunteers I have. So I know that we've been here a long time. I know that I'm taking time to do this. I'm doing that on purpose because these kids deserve it. And again, they're not kids. These musicians, these artists, my students, your kids deserve this. So one more time, please thank the senior class of 2023 for the Pride of Port Charlotte. Yeah, you can sit now. It's okay, Jack. I knew Jack would tell me when it's too long. Thanks. Love my guys. Love my guys. All right, y'all. We're going to end today with Mr. Zdeklik. Yes, that is how you say his name. It is weird and Polish. That's okay. I'm not saying Poles are weird. Trust me, okay? I got a lot of it in my blood, too. I'm just saying his name is hard to say, and they have no idea how to say it still. Try and say it. See? Like about 5 different times, okay? Zdeklik, Mr. Zdeklik, our masterwork of band literature, chorale, and shaker dance. You're in for a treat. Enjoy. Thank you. I always forget. I want to do it now. Murdoch Baptist Church, I do not know nicer people in the world. I really don't. And that's not coming from somebody who just forgot to say thank you to them. Please thank them for everything they do. They give us this venue. We have no other place to perform. And they do that out of the kindness of our hearts. We pay nothing to play here. They set it up. They run the live stream. They do this. They set up the wonderful graphic that you see at the beginning. They run the sound. They do everything. So if you see them, thank them from the bottom of your hearts, because they are just as much the pride of Port Charlotte as we are. Thank you, guys. We love you.
hi guys, I know we actually all want to get out of here. It's super hot, so we're not going to take a very long time, but this concert would not be complete if we did not acknowledge our amazing director, Mr. Hoeben. So give it up for Mr. Hoeben. Bring on out the goods. Bring them out, bring them out. So, okay, yes. Wow. So on just behalf of the senior class, we just wanted to say a few words basically about how just amazing of a director and a person Mr. Hoeben has been. We've been with him for these past 4 years, and as he said, these past 4 years they've been hard. This last year specifically, but all of the resilience that he said that, we showed, this band showed, that was because of him. We learned that from him, and so we just want to thank him so much. And I know personally, I would not be the person that I am today without all of the life lessons that Mr. Hoeben has taught me. If I went into detail, we would actually be here for hours because he's just that great. So thank you, Mr. Hoeben. Thank you.
Hey guys, so I just wanted to add to that. We have like 2 more people after, but I just wanted to say that Hoeben has been like family to all of us. Oh, I'm gonna cry. And and he's been more than that. I can't, but he's been there through the thick and thin. And I couldn't ask for a better band director. Okay, Dorina.
I'm gonna say something funny so we can stop crying. But I feel like I wouldn't be where I am without the help of Mr. Hoeben. He's really been there for all of us, every single one of us, even if it was like one little thing, like even saying no to bringing rattlesnakes to this concert, or Crocs to the concert. But I just want to say, I couldn't have been in a better band or have a better band director than Mr. Hoeben, and I'm so blessed that I got to play with symphonic band, jazz band, all of you guys, and that I am able to call myself a student of Corey Hoeben. Also, wait, and I'm just really happy to see him go from Corey to Mr. Hoeben.
All right. Hoeben did something to this program. Even though the crap show we've been through this year, he sparked something in all of us that stayed, and it made so that we didn't quit, whether it was the band room flooding, us, or little things like us not being able to wear tux or gowns to our senior year MPA. He did something to all the seniors specifically to make them stay and make this our best year, even though it should be our worst.
I won't take up your time because I know a lot of us want to go home, but I wanted to say, Uncle Corey, that we love you. And for a lot of us, especially Murdoch kids, you've been here since, what, 7th grade? Yes. Yeah, you're old, but we love you. Nonetheless, we love you, and you've really shown a lot of us a lot of life lessons and made us parents, even though we didn't want to. But regardless, you were able to fill in the shoes and made them even better. So thank you for carrying on and always having a plan. And regardless of having a plan, you always kept by us. And you never really left us in the dust. So thank you.
Thank you guys.